Yeah,
Hi,
Lily's
Lily.
here.
Real quick, for people who aren't familiar with you yet, how do
Yeah.
you introduce yourself
Yeah.
and what you do to people?
Yeah, so I'm Lily Cameron. I am the founder of Wild Minimalist, which is a store that sells low waste essentials. We help people to break their dependence on plastic and disposable waste. And I'm also the author, now an author of Simply Sustainable, which Carla Marie just showed you all.
Which is, did you think ever in your life that you would have written a book?
No, it's so surreal. I still don't believe it. Like people, like strangers will be like holding up my book on Instagram and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, that's me. So weird.
So I obviously want to get into the book and why people should buy it and what the book is all about. But you weren't, you didn't grow up doing zero waste or attempting to do a minimalist lifestyle or any of that.
Basically, you didn't grow up in like a hippie combine where you weren't allowed to like see plastic or anything like that.
So at what point in your life?
I wish I did.
Right? I know. At what point in your life did you make the change and create Wild Minimalist?
Well, I mean, I think I've always, yes, I did not grow up doing this lifestyle, but I've always thought of myself as like an environmentalist. Just growing up in California and, always recycling and composting. I drive a hybrid. So I always was like, oh, I'm doing really well with my environmentalism. And it wasn't really until I learned about the zero waste movement, which for people who don't know, it's really well known for like these women who can fit all their trash into a jar,
which is
like their
nuts.
yearly waste. It's a little unrealistic, and we could like talk about that as well. But it's this really stark symbol, I could fit all my yearly waste into this jar. And I was like, oh my gosh, how much waste am I creating at home? And when I looked closer, I really realized that there was just plastic and disposable items everywhere I looked. And it really made me question, can I call myself an environmentalist and, stuff my trash can full of garbage bags every single week? So it really did inspire me to make this huge shift in my lifestyle, and eventually led my husband and I to start our own business, Wild Minimalist, to help other people who are starting out on their journey to find those reusable items, to get rid of disposable plastic in their lives.
Well, what I love about your account, which I came across it, I want to say like 2-3 years ago, something like that, is you are able to talk about reducing our impact, right, as just humans, making smarter choices, making more conscious choices without making it sound like you've got to wear like hemp clothes and bike to work every single day. Like and I joke about it, but the reason I say that is because I think so many people, the second you say, oh, let's talk about the environment, or, oh, let's talk about whatever, think that you have to join Greenpeace and go chase down like whales in the ocean, where you can just make regular, easy decisions on a daily basis and have a huge impact on the world. And I love that that's kind of the thing that you've done so well, is showing people how they can do that.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I think there's always going to be those people who are kind of, taking this lifestyle to the extreme. They're doing it like everything kind of perfectly in a way, making their own clothes, wearing hemp or whatever. But I think really for us as like a society to make a huge impact, we need everyone doing a little bit, like just a tiny bit is going to make such a greater impact than like a handful of people doing this to the extreme.
Okay, so to that then, what are some things that people who are watching today are like, all right, you know what? I do want to make some changes. What is something that when we end our show today, they can start doing today?
Yeah, so I think a great place to start is just by taking a closer look at your trash, just tracking what you're throwing away for a week. And it'll really help you to notice the patterns in your waste. You'll probably see that most of your trash comes from your kitchen,
Yeah.
and most of it probably will be food packaging, which is really, that's going to make the biggest impact for you when you're starting out. I would say the other thing is that a lot of people will get really inspired to like buy a bunch of new things. Like they're like, I'm going to get rid of all my disposable products and I'm going to buy a bunch of reusable, fancy items. And I really caution against that. I think you don't have to spend a lot of money when you're starting out. You should use up all your disposable items, let them serve their purpose, and then slowly integrate those reusable products into your lifestyle. It's going to make it so much more manageable, because if you quit plastic cold turkey, it's going to be like a complete shock. Mm-hmm. It's going to be tough. You really want to make it sustainable for your lifestyle.
Well, and like you said, I mean, if you have stuff in your home, use it, because now what you're doing is you're extending that amount of time, the lifespan, and you're making sure that they don't just go directly into a garbage. Because whenever you buy something, whether it's shipped, unless you're buying it from a store in person, there's going to be packaging, there's going to be some sort of carbon footprint. So the least the best thing you can do really is to buy the least amount of things possible to reduce your carbon footprint. Now, obviously, we live in a capitalist society. We need our economy to move, so we want people to buy things. But the less you buy, the less you impact the world negatively, really.
Yeah, I think it's definitely about reducing the amount that you buy. If you bought nothing, if you just stopped buying anything, you would have no trash in like a few weeks. So it's really just taking those conscious steps to kind of reduce the amount that we shop, and then to slowly integrate those reusable items so you're not buying disposable products on an ongoing basis. Mm-hmm.
And what you were saying about like doing small things or little things, like over the last year, I have done some things, and even when I was emailing you, I was like, this is what I do. Like I was like so excited, like I needed to tell you. And one of the things, I know you have them on wildminimalist.com, Marleys Monsters. And what exactly are, the company itself, is it reusable rags? How would you describe Marleys Monsters?
Yeah, they're awesome, and they're based in Oregon. Yeah. And they basically just make reusable, mostly cloth items that you can use in your home. So some of the most popular products that we sell of theirs are unpaper towels, which are made of this really soft, absorbent cotton flannel that you could just toss in your washing machine and keep reusing. The other thing that you mentioned, reusable facial rounds. Yep. So those will replace cotton balls, cotton facial rounds that you usually would like throw away. So they're really nice because they're soft and absorbent, and you just can keep putting them in the wash and using them again and again.
And what Anthony was saying about what he loves about Wild Minimalist and your Instagram account, you also get the same vibe in Simply Sustainable. It's not like you're not yelling at people and like telling them like, you need to do this, we need to save the environment. A lot of what you're also trying to teach people is the mental health side of it. Like, it is not just an environmental great thing to do to live a sustainable lifestyle, but you're also going to see a mental side effect of where you feel much better living this minimalist lifestyle. And I don't think people fully understand when you get rid of stuff, you feel better.
Yeah, I think there's definitely the environmental side of it. It feels good to be doing, the right thing for the environment, but definitely in a mental health side, they've shown that there's links between when you're living more minimally, you have less stress and anxiety. So you're not only freeing up space in your home, but you're freeing up your time and intention. And I think people really become, and I noticed this with myself, like you become more introspective. And when you break your shopping habit, you'll start thinking, oh, I really want to buy something right now, but like, why do I want to buy something? Do I actually need this, or am I bored, or am I sad? Am I lonely? So I think you become a little bit more present and mindful when you're living more minimally.
And Lily, we have our chat going right now as we're on Twitch, and I love this comment from Twinkle Tater. Says, I begun composting 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And it's greatly reduced my trash output. I've also started using a soda stream, so I buy way less single-use plastic and cans.
That's cool.
And reusable shopping bags and what else? And reusable Ziploc bags. So those are all things people can do to minimize their impact and the amount of plastic that they put out into the world.
Yeah, those are all great. I think composting is going to make, if you don't already, it makes such a huge impact. And that can obviously be challenging. Like if you live in an apartment, if your city doesn't offer that service, but there are some ways, you know, that you can compost at home. One is called a bokashi. There's also electric composters. You can sometimes find a farmer's market and drop off your compost.
Oh, cool.
So those are all really great swaps that Twinkle
Taters.
Twinkle Taters.
Twinkle Taters.
She's in Vermont. She's in Vermont. Yeah. So one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about is you're a parent, and I feel like a lot of people see this and be like, I can't do that with kids. There's no way. So you're living proof that you can, and I'm sure it's completely different living this lifestyle as a parent opposed to just a single person living alone.
Yeah, I mean, when I was pregnant with our son, I had a lot of parent friends who were like, oh, you know, good luck living your minimalist, low-waste lifestyle. Like, that's about to be over. And I definitely get it. I try to go into it as intentionally as possible. But, you know, when you're a new parent, you feel a little bit anxious and you're like, what do I need? There's this urge to just buy a lot of things. So like, get your kids entertained and help them to learn and grow and sleep. So I get it. Having done it now, I would say that I urge new parents to buy as little as possible. And when you do buy things, you know, try to buy them secondhand or borrow them from a friend, because you really won't know what you need until the baby is there and they'll kind of show you like what they need. I think for people with older kids, I definitely encourage that they get them involved with this lifestyle. Yep. They're going to become an advocate for you. They're going to start talking to their friends about it and help prevent waste from coming into your home. And then, of course, the biggest challenge, which I still deal with, is, you know, the friends and family who want to gift your kids all these things, like plastic things, disposable things. So, you know, that's always challenging. But, you know, if you can have those proactive conversations in advance, especially before birthdays and holidays, it's going to help. You know, you can give them suggestions for like experience gifts that you would love to receive.
Well, I think a lot of people also, because gift giving is a big part of that. And I think people don't want to seem cheap or inconsiderate. So if I showed up to a party with, even if it's the exact thing you or your kid wanted, Lily, but secondhand, right? I think that's more on the gift giver than the gift receiver to say, I know that this person is trying to reduce their waste, so they don't care if what I buy them is brand new. They would much rather me being considerate enough to go find the thing that they want and reduce the waste that we put out there into the world. And I think it's on the gift giver a lot to understand, like, you can do nice things that don't require brand new plastic packaging.
Yeah, absolutely. It is challenging. Our son went to his first like socially distanced birthday party, and I definitely was like, you don't know what the other person, what their lifestyle is like. They might think you're weird, for bringing a secondhand gift. So I definitely get it. I think it can depend on the person. You can buy, really amazing used items. You can buy really great, brand new sustainable items. So I think there's like a happy medium. It depends on your comfort level, and maybe just having those conversations, letting them know like that you live a low waste lifestyle.
And experiences, like you mentioned earlier, are always a great option, right? A trip to a museum or a zoo or a gift card to a restaurant or something along those lines. Because we have enough crap. That's what I keep trying to tell myself too. Like as I go through my stuff, I would say on a monthly basis, like I have so much crap I don't need anymore.
It's a little bit of a purge, but I love that he's saying that as we're in front of a wall of his, how many sneakers?
Okay, those sneakers are the only thing that I collect, for the record.
So yeah.
No judgments. You have to make it work for you. I get it. We all have our things that we're like, that we don't want to let go of.
Yep.
So I definitely I try not to tell people like, you have to only own 3 pairs of shoes if you want to do this lifestyle. It's like, you have to make it adapt for you. And that's what's going to bring you joy. And if all those shoes bring you joy, then I say you keep them.
Yeah. And I love that. I mean, even just the cover of your book, like this doesn't, to me, this just looks like a trendy home. You know what I mean? You don't make it look like it is that much of a struggle or, you know, you have to live this weird lifestyle. It's things can still be trendy and fun and clean and modern. But I think discussions like this are really important, and things like your book are really important because the general public has this weird idea that, if you want to be like a minimalist or whatever, you have to use reusable toilet paper. It's like, you don't have to go that extreme.
You can.
You can if you want to.
You could.
Last year was the year to start doing that. That's for sure.
For sure.
What I want people to know about your book is it's not just, you're not just constantly just reading. You have what I'm calling almost like recipes for different parts of your life, where I'm trying to find the makeup bag, where it's your zero waste makeup bag. And you show almost a recipe, just a list of what is in your bag, how, like where to get it. And it's just great. I was like, oh, you know what? When I'm done with this mascara, I can switch to that mascara.
Right.
And it's just a great, like, this is just what it, just so everyone can do a quick little, like, it looks like that. It's not just this. You're not like, I don't want to keep saying yelling at people. It's not that. It's a very helpful step-by-step guide to changing parts of your life one at a time. It's not just like okay, you have to read this and completely, like you keep saying, change everything. You don't have to do that. You can do one thing at a time, one small thing at a time. And that's all we need to do.
And obviously we want people to go check out this book. We want people to buy it. We do have a copy that we are going to be giving away. And all you have to do if you're watching this right now is in the chat, type in ! And the word enter. And once we are, through with this discussion with Lily, we'll pick our winner for that. But Lily, in this book, just to give people a taste of what they can expect, like what are some of your favorite products that you have in this book that you think everyone at some point when they clear out all the disposable stuff they have should invest in?
Oh man. I mean, favorite products.
Go to wildminimalist.com.
Yeah.
I know. I really love, I joke about how I love my wood dish brush.
You do love your wood dish brush.
I mean, it really makes doing chores so much more enjoyable. So like washing the dishes, it's this wood brush. It has natural bristles. It has a head that you can remove and compost when you're done.
Oh, cool.
So it's reusable in that way. All the parts are recyclable and compostable at the end of life. But honestly, getting rid of your plastic sponge, like if anyone knows the smell of an old nasty sponge, that is just an old nightmare of mine. So I'm so glad to be gone with that. I think the other thing I really love that we talked about earlier are using unpaper towels. So Marleys Monsters makes some really great ones. Cleaning up your home. When I first told my husband that we were getting rid of our paper towels, he was like, oh no, like, what are you doing? But honestly, we got rid of them like 5 or 6 years ago, and we've never turned back. It's so much easier to clean up using a reusable towel than like this really thin, breakable paper towel, constantly breaking off the towels and then, constantly replacing it. Yeah. I'm so much happier just being able to be self-sufficient in that way.
There's a comment here in the chat that said toothbrushes and floss and all of that tiny plastic. Are there better options for toothbrushes? Like, I wouldn't even know. So one of the first swaps I made in the bathroom are bamboo toothbrushes.
Yeah.
So every single toothbrush that you've ever used, they're made of plastic and they still exist somewhere. They are in a landfill, like from the time you were a little kid using your Barbie toothbrush, like they are still out there, which is really a scary thought. With bamboo toothbrushes, it's a bamboo handle and then nylon bristles. So the bristles are not compostable. You do have to either snap off the head or remove them with pliers when you're done, but you can compost the rest of the handle. Cool. There's also really great toothpaste options that come in glass jars or metal tubes that I really love. And then for floss, there's compostable silk floss. So it's made with like a silk thread. It comes in a little glass vial. It's reusable. You can refill it, and it's a great experience. I have no cavities. I have pretty great teeth. So just in my checkup, there's no issues.
Okay, good to know.
And the best part of using silk floss is you can feel like you're old royalty.
Oh, yeah.
That's a very regal thing to do.
I bet.
There's actually
very
this
luxurious.
Is a great question from Court in Florida, who said a lot of these products are more expensive. Do they last long enough to justify the cost? Which is obviously people have to make financial decisions as well.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely never try to tell anyone, you have to buy these products if you're going to live this lifestyle, because we all have different financial situations. And that upfront cost can be expensive for people. The reason that these products are more expensive is because they're made of those high quality materials. They're designed to last a really long time.
Okay.
Whereas plastic is designed to be, one and done. It's designed to be thrown away. So those products will pay for themselves over their lifetime. It just it might take a few months. It's an investment for sure.
And we don't want to give away like all the tips and secrets in the book, obviously, because we want people to go check it out. The one last question I want to get from the chat, though, is, and this is something that I feel like I've argued with my parents about when I used to live at home. What's better for doing the dishes, running the dishwasher or washing by hand? Do you have the answer?
Yeah, is that?
I mean, so from what I know, using the dishwasher is better for the dishes. It uses way less water than hand washing, is
Good,
what
because
I've
I'm lazy.
heard.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be people who are like, no, that's not true. That it's an ongoing debate. I'm sure if you filled your sink with water and then maybe wash the dishes in that way, maybe it would be less. I mean, it's debatable.
Okay.
I think just getting the dishes clean is.
And that question was from Rosanna in Long Island. So thank you for entering the chat. Appreciate you.
And you said your last thing. My last thing is that in the book you talk about, is it eco guilt? Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
And I love that you were bringing that up. And I was like, it's so true, because I feel that a lot of times when I'm either trying to be better at recycling, or I'm like, oh my God, I should have never bought that, or look at all this garbage that just came from this Amazon package that I bought. And recently I've been doing grocery pickup, which means that I don't have the ability to put my produce in my reusable little mesh bags that I have.
Yeah.
And I stopped doing grocery pickup for that reason, because when I got home, I laid out all of the bags on the floor. I should have had this picture for you to see it. It was probably I had like 15 to 20 plastic bags that just went in the garbage, or I could reuse them. Tiny bags. They weren't compostable. It was awful. Yeah. So that, I guess, is right there, is that eco guilt, like, oh my God, how did I do this? I just killed the environment. Look what I just did. But it's a process.
The pandemic also didn't help. I mean, obviously we had bigger issues in terms of keeping people alive, but I think the pandemic set back a lot of that movement because you couldn't use reusable things. Everything had to be single use and disposable. And I think there are times, unfortunately, where you say, okay, well, we're going to make this decision and this choice for the short term, and then get back to it, hopefully, when things get back to normal.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you bringing up the pandemic, because I think that that's a perfect example of how this lifestyle really has to be adaptable, because life is unpredictable and messy, and then things like COVID happen. And, we're definitely creating a lot more waste at home as well. So there are going to be things out of your control. You're going to feel that guilt because when you start noticing plastic and disposable products and trash, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
So I think really just trying, and I struggled with this as well, but really trying to be like gentle with yourself and just, focusing on the big picture, looking at all the changes that you have made already and knowing that, it's not going to always be this way. I can keep doing better every day.
Yeah. And like you said early on and throughout this whole discussion is it's way more valuable for all of us, even if it's just everyone that is watching this right now or watches this on demand later. It's way more valuable for all of us to find even one or two small changes that we can make rather than 12 of us going completely plastic free. We're going to make a bigger impact doing the smaller things as a larger group. And then from there, we'll be able to not only move the needle socially, but then politically and making corporations follow along with the things that we want to do. And it all has to start in this grassroots way. Our politicians aren't going to write the proper legislation or push for the proper legislation. Corporations aren't going to change if we don't make them do it as a huge group. And that's why we all have to kind of do these small things and find ways to make it practical for you, for all of us individually. And we're all going to see that differently.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's such a good point. And, I think as more people adopt this lifestyle and they demand those plastic-free alternatives, you are going to see the corporations listen. You are going to see the politicians listen. We're already seeing that there's like a pilot program called Loop that's kind of a milkman style service. And they're partnering with huge brands like Pantene Pro V, Dove, Gillette to offer these refillable, recyclable options for their products. Yeah, so like you are really seeing people take notice and they want to make money. So if people are demanding plastic-free alternatives and people are buying them, they're going to start to listen.
That's awesome. That is very cool. And you said it was called Loop?
It's called Loop. I think they're piloting it right now in New York. Oh, wow. I don't know. They're not in the Bay Area. I don't know if they're in LA. I don't think they're in Seattle.
I saw someone in the chat say they were using it. So if that was you, let us know where you're from and where they're actually doing the Loop program.
And Lily, the Wild Minimalist store that people can visit, it's in the Bay Area?
Yeah, it's in Marin in San Rafael in the North Bay.
Okay. I definitely want to come visit. Yeah. It's so cool.
Come visit. We'd love to have you.
Okay.
You guys are welcome anytime.
One day soon, we'll be there. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate this. The book is amazing. I am a huge, huge fan. We got to pull the winner. And if you didn't win, go buy it. So we'll do that in a little bit. Lily, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. We hope to have you come back. Maybe we'll do a 1 month or 3 months transformation and we'll try to do things and have Lily come back and we can
I love that.
Yeah.
And if it's okay with you, Lily, because I don't want to like put all your secrets out there, maybe we each pick like 3 things from the book and actually show the before and the after and the difference it's made.
All right, we'll work on that this week and we'll let you know where we're at. Now we have to do it because we said we would.
Thank you so much. This was so fun talking to you guys.